How can I support my partner, my family member, a friend when they're struggling with anxiety without making it worse, without enabling it? And at the same time, also while protecting my own mental health? That's a great question, and we're here today in order to explore that exactly. Hi, my name is Vassia. I'm a psychologist, and I'm here to explore together with you the landscapes of mental health and how we can protect ourselves better in, of course, the busy and complicated life that we live in. What I would like to explore with you today is two things. One, how you can support your partner, your friends, a family member when they are struggling with anxiety. And I'm going to share two valuable tips with you and very practical. But also, I want to make sure that you get out of this video knowing also how to protect yourselves and how to remain strong and in a position to support somebody else. Because if at the end of the day, both people get anxiety and they cannot support each other and they are drained and exhausted, what's the point of supporting somebody? So, as they say also in the airplane, first put your mask on before you help somebody else put their mask on. So, before I jump into the first part of this video, which is how to support somebody with anxiety, let me remind you that what's happening during these days is the launch of the Inner Momentum Academy. This is a very unique concept. This is not an academy where you join and you are bombarded with dozens of online courses that you have to watch at some time and you don't have the time for that and this is so overwhelming. No, you gain access to live events that they're short in duration but packed with practical tools. Every month, 3 events, you gain access to these events, and you can find the tools that you need in order to every time start with a new step, do the next step in your life. You can learn a lot of stuff about mental health, anxiety, perfectionism, procrastination, fear of failure, inner critic, self-love, self-compassion, but also about relationships, attachment styles, empowering relationship boundaries, people pleasing, toxic relationship, narcissism, gaslighting, all these things. Every month, a different topic, every month, 3 live events. You don't need to plan anything. You just log in and you learn and get out of these events with at least one thing to start practicing today already. So that's why I call it Inner Momentum. Now, have a look at the link in the description and let's go and talk about anxiety now. Now, the first thing that we want to do while supporting somebody with anxiety is make sure that we create a safe place for them. We don't want to make this person feel that there's something wrong with them or with what they're feeling. We don't want to respond with something like, well, come on, you're overthinking it, eh? You're being overdramatic here. Yes, they're overthinking. They know that. That's one of the symptoms of anxiety. Overthinking, rumination. Yes, they know that. And just because somebody noticed it and said it to them, it doesn't stop it. We don't want to make them feel dismissed, rejected, or invalidated. Actually, the opposite. We want to offer an abundance of validation to them, empathy to them. You don't need to tell them how it would feel if you experience the same thing, if you wouldn't get stressed with the situation that they're facing. They don't need that information. It doesn't say anything to them. They are stressed, and that's the valuable information there. So we need to get into their shoes and understand how it feels from there, not from here. So empathize as much as you can. Try to listen. We can empathize if we listen. If we don't listen, we cannot. And by listening means staying there, maintaining eye contact. The posture of your body shows that you're listening. Ask questions in order to understand. Ask questions out of the curiosity perspective, not out of the minimizing perspective. You don't want to minimize it with your questions. You want to understand it. And that's what you're conveying to them. Ask questions, listen actively, listen without judging, without jumping to assumptions and conclusions, and try to empathize with them. Sometimes just nodding your head is just good enough. Or if I can say, I can hear and I can see how tough it is for you, but you are actually confirming how it feels for them. Yeah, I can see it feels tough for you. So one thing we do is create a safe place. The other thing that we want to do is help them stop with the spiraling. That's something that they struggle with. People with anxiety, they they struggle with stopping the negative spiraling. Once they start thinking of one thing that can go wrong, then they just go to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. Pandora's box is open. They go down the rabbit hole and they cannot stop. So how can we do that? How can we stop this spiraling? One thing that helps is if instead of offering solutions to them or giving them different perspectives, sometimes it doesn't help, because what happens is that you're just giving them options that they haven't thought of, and then actually you're adding to the rumination instead of taking something off it. So what we want to do is, if you want to help and offer solutions, sometimes just stop, break this pattern of fixing a situation and offering solutions, and ask them self-reflective questions. So for example, you can ask them, how does it feel when I give you that solution? Do you feel more calm? Do you feel better? Or actually, do you feel worse? Does it help you? So do this question quite often so that you can check and they can check with themselves whether what they're doing now is helpful or not. When they realize that actually I feel worse than before, that's a good point for us to stop this conversation. We stop with the fixing it and finding solutions because actually it doesn't help, but just being there in this moment and maybe just talking about the feelings. How does it feel that you cannot fix it at this moment? Is it harsh? Yes, right? It's really hard for you. Yes, I get it. Another thing that you can try with them is, since the solution or brainstorming doesn't actually make you feel better, and that's the most important thing in this conversation, shall we try a little bit of breathing exercises? That's the second thing that you can do with them. Breathe, let them get in touch with their body, put their hand on their belly, notice how it goes up and down to the rhythm of the breath, and that's it. That's good enough for now. Just let them find their rhythm, get in touch with their body. And breathing helps calm down the brain. That's the number one strategy. Now, we already said a couple of tips how we can help those that they're struggling with anxiety, but how do we help you who are supporting somebody with anxiety? While you're being patient and encouraging with your partner or family member or friend who is struggling with anxiety, who's taking care of you? You. So we want a little bit to lighten the burden that you're carrying or to provide balance to your life. So when you're spending a lot of time caring for somebody, giving support, you also want to go and recharge your own boundaries. So that's what we call self-care. Find activities that you can do and actually nourish your body and your mind and your soul. Meet with friends and don't talk about all the things that you are talking with your partner. Don't just continue that conversation. Talk about other things that you like, things that you enjoy, or things about you, about your inner world. Another thing that you can do is try hobbies, try exercising, try something, in other words, that fills your life with more joy and more positive energy. And also, the other thing that we want to protect is not only you, but also your relationship. If the relationship is constantly, and I'm not talking about a couple of days or weeks, but constantly focused on one member of this relationship. And again, it can be partner, friend, family member. If it's focused only on one member, then sooner or later it will become imbalanced. And we can allow some space, some period in our lives to focus on another person. Of course, it cannot not be 50-50 all the time. However, we want to set some boundaries. And that's the second thing that I want to tell you about how you can take care of yourself while you're supporting somebody else. Set some boundaries in how much you are going to talk about all the worries and concerns of your beloved one. How many hours, how many days of the week you're going to devote there. Whether you will need to have this conversation with them, the conversation that says that I notice that we are occupied with this promotion, for example, or this challenge or this decision, and we haven't talked about anything else. We haven't done anything fun. It feels like we are stuck and we need to do something to protect our relationship. Sometimes I need to say no to another conversation about the same topic, not because I reject you or because I don't want to have this conversation, but because it's also good for me if I'm mindful of my energy. And I will also appreciate if I'm not the only one you have these kind of conversations. Maybe your colleagues will be more suitable, or maybe your own family members. so that we can distribute a little bit this support that you need. I cannot be your sole supporter because sooner or later I'm going to crash. And then that's a pity because I'm not going to be able to support you. So you see that the boundaries will be set in a very kind and compassionate tone. It's not rejection, it's not harsh boundaries. It's just boundaries in order to protect the relationship, not to damage the relationship. So let me know what you think. Remember, let me recap. You want to support your important person who is struggling with anxiety. And what you want to do is to create a safe place and validate them and offer them understanding and patience. But also, you want to help break this pattern of rumination. You also want to mention in this conversation with this person that you're not a therapist. You heard the video, you listened, you watched the video, you got some tips, but you're not sure whether you're doing it perfectly right. So if they want something more, if all the things you've tried don't work, then you recommend that they see a specialist, they see a therapist. And two things that you can do for you: self-care and boundaries in order to protect yourself and the relationship. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you take from that. Let me know what you have tried so far. And of course, if you need more help, don't forget to register to the Inner Momentum Academy, which is coming up, and the doors close on the 30th of September. And I would be sad if you miss that deadline and you have to wait until they open again. Thank you for being here. Take good care of yourself.